In this tutorial, we are going to touch upon basic lighting. In order to have lighting, first of all, let's have something that we can light up. So I'm going to create a plane. If you'd like to get rid of the grid, you can press G on your keyboard. That will get rid of the grid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a box over here. I will create a teapot, and I will create a cylinder. Let's also create a sphere in there as well. If I was to create this sphere, the gizmo of the sphere is, or the pivot point of the sphere is at the center of the sphere. So if I was to click and drag here, unlike the other items, the sphere does not sit on top of the polygon or on top of this plane. It actually sits over here. I could, number one, select the create the sphere and then go to the front viewport, press F4 so I can see the plane as well, and then using my move tool, bring this up and then make sure that it sits on the plane. That's one option that I could have. The other option is I could say go to sphere, and now what I could say is, rather than having the pivot at the center, I could say base to pivot, and it will create the teapot, or the sphere, on top of the plane, because this plane is sitting exactly on the grid and this sphere is also being made on the grid. And just to let you know, if this plane was not at the grid level and it was up here, so if you look at it, it's above the other. If I wanted to create this sphere, for example, on top of this grid, if I click right now, it won't go on top of it because this sphere is being made at grid level. If I want the sphere to sit on this, I could click on auto grid up here, and I could click and drag, and I will consider each item that I select to be the base of that object. So if I wanted the sphere to go up here, I could go on top of this and create one. I'm gonna turn this off, delete these. Okay, in order to create a light, you need to go to the Create tab, go to Lights, and here you can choose a light to use. In this case, we're not going to be using any photometric lights. We're going to be using standard lights, and you have different type of lights that you can use. In this case, I'm going to create a skylight, but before I do that, I'm actually select these items, go to the modify panel, and just change the color to something slightly different so that we have different colors in the scene. So back to Create tab, Lights, make sure you choose standard from this drop down menu, and then you want to choose skylight. And then it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter where you click, just create a skylight. Just make sure once you create that, you will go ahead and click the move tool immediately, because if you don't, you will still be in the skylight, and when you keep on clicking, you will just create more and more of these skylights. You only need one. So I'm going to select those that I just made, delete them. Okay. When using skylight, or at least for this method that we are going to use right now, what you may want to do is press F10 to go to your render menu, or you could click on render setup. So either F10 or that, doesn't matter, gives you this. Because I'm using 3ds Max Design, by default my renderer is set to Mentoray. If I want to change that to Scanline, I will need to go in the comment tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom of my menu, click on Assign Renderer. Mine says Mentoray. If you're not using 3ds Max Design, yours will probably say Scanline Renderer. But if you want to change that, you can click on this and you could choose Scanline, and that will give you Scanline there. If you have Scanline and want to change it to Mentoray, you can click on this and then choose Mentoray from the list. But in this case, I want to say cancel because I want to have Scanline here. And then you want to go to Advanced Lighting, and then from the drop down menu choose Light Tracer. And in order to render this, you can either press F9 on your keyboard, or you can just click render here, or you could click render here. But I like to use shortcuts, so I'm going to press F9, and that will start creating a render for me. So you can see I'm going to click on this icon actually here in order to copy what I have, And I'm going to undo the effects of the light. So I'm going to delete the light. I'm going to press F10 to go to my light settings, and I'm going to go to advanced lighting and change that so it's no longer a light tracer. And I'm going to press F9 so you can see the difference between the two renders. You can see that here, where the objects meet with the plane, we have some darker pixels, some shadows, and the overall colors on these items look much better. This is just a very quick and rough method of getting quick renders. One thing you need to have in mind, however, is if you have many polygons and reflections and such, scanline renderer will be very, very slow. So you need to use the correct render method at the right time. But in this video tutorial, we will only talk about skylight, and hopefully I will create more tutorials talking about other lights and how to increase your render settings. Thank you.